Noah coming at you with another video. I'm here recording the Pepe heroes that I played at locals recently on Yu-Gi-Oh Day. I'm gonna give like a small tourney report. The deck was super good. I got a bunch of compliments on the build and the way I went about doing it. Overall, I think the deck's super strong. I do want to do testing with a couple of more cards. This is a version 2. There are different cards than the original one. I guess I'll put a link to that one below. Without further ado, I'm going to go straight into it. Obviously, you play 3 Shadow Mist. You play the 3 Shadow Mist because he's now a staple in the hero support. Rip Stratos. 3 Bubble Man. Not explaining Bubble Man. I opted to play 3 just because I was running out of 2 too quickly. And then last but not least, pretty much MVP. It's a tie between him and Monkey Board. Just because he has the same monkey board scenario where you play him and you gain advantage just from like seeing this card. And even when this card got Veilered, I still felt like I was able to do things because I don't know, he was probably like the best card in the deck all weekend. Now we're gonna go into the Pepe stuff. Tuga Turtle. 2 Liz draw, best combo to draw ever. 2 Silver Claw. Silver Claw was really good for making rank 4 plays, making Nightmare, and then also when I needed to deal like a little bit extra damage, I felt like Silver Claw was just the optimal option. So Silver Claw was actually my favorite of all of the Performer Pals, other than your main man, Skull Crobat Joker and Monkey Board. I actually almost won a game because I drew Monkey Board, like I top decked it, and I was able to set up a scale. I went for Monkey Board to Joker and then to Silver Claw, and then I was able to pendulum out the rest of my hand. I made Nightmare and I made Absolute Zero, so that was actually really fun. Last Performer Power we play is Second Donkey, just because if you get a chance and you get Second Donkey out while you have scales, he's a Stratos for the deck. And he's also 2K, like he's a 2K wall, so you can set him sometimes if you brick. Bricking actually happened a little bit more than I wanted to. It just felt like I saw the changes too much, and there was nothing really I could do about that. Last pendulum we play is Master, just because I felt like there was really awkward situations with my scale, and I'd be like, oh, like if this was in the pendulum zone, well, if this was face up in the extra deck, I could destroy this, add another copy of the card so I'd have mass change fuel, or I could just pendulum and protect myself, or even make fusion substitute live. So that was a lot of fun. The last 4 monsters in the deck is the Dark Engine with an extra. Armageddon Knight to send Zephyros or Shadow. Every time Zephyros hit the grave, I felt like I had the opportunity to like go for game. And normally if I did, like Zephyros just opened up so much. I'm actually thinking about cutting Shadow Dragon just because I don't like what it really does for the deck, unlike Zephyros, where like even if it's in your hand, like you can further extend what you do. Dragon just doesn't have that potential and doesn't really do anything for the deck except you would have like it helps you like unbrick, but not really. And last but not least, I was playing Wonka just because Monarchs can't go into the 2 level 1 and level 2 card that allow them to just go for their normal summon because that card just automatically hits the grave. And then this single-handedly beats the BA Burning Abyss matchup. And it was weird because I played this card against a Mermail player, and they were like, I don't know what to do because they had to go for their Neptibus play. So I got to like drag 3 cards out of their hand in order for them to get around it. So Wonka was actually one of my favorite cards all weekend. Next for spells, we played 2 Instant Fusion, Poly and Fusion Substitute, Miracle Fusion, a Hero Lives. I like the Hero Lives, but I didn't do the thing that a lot of people used to do, where they would a Hero Lives for Shadow Mist, get the change, then wait out the turn and then go for Dark Claw, because I just didn't feel like that was doing much for the deck. So I didn't opt for that. I normally went for Blaze Man if I saw this, and it allowed me to continue my plays. 2 E-Call. And then last for the normal spells. 1 Rhoda, 1 Upstart, and a tech that actually won me a couple of games. Pot of Benevolence. This card's garbage. I don't know how I managed to make this work. This card essentially says select 2 cards in the graveyard, either player's graveyard, and you can return them to the proper player's deck. And then this card, instead of hitting the graveyard, gets banished. You can only activate once per turn. So I put back a Blue Eyes into their deck because I knew they were going to go back and special it. I was able to put back a Shadow Mist, which made my Blaze Man play live again. So that was a lot of fun. Because the issue I was running into, and I don't own an Emerald, so it was like so the standard Blaze Man play is Blaze Man, search Poly, then Blaze Man effect, send Shadow Mist effect, add Bubble Man, then you would poly for absolute 0. And every time you did that, you lost 1 copy of all of your heroes. And you play 8 in this version, so 3. It was just too awkward, and I felt like I wasn't doing enough with it. And when I wanted the other cards, because I'd see cards like E-Call and it'd be like, wow, I can't use these. So Pot of Benevolence just allowed me to make usage for those. Now for the changes. 2 form, 2 mass change the second, and 1 regular mass change. I played the regular mass change just because I felt like this card was really good all weekend to me. Just because you could go from Vapor to Acid. You could go from Dark Law to Anki. You could take any of them. You could take any of the heroes. You could take any of the heroes in the main deck and make like really good plays. And form change just because it felt like it was giving me OTK opportunities that I didn't have before. And then last but not least, we have 2 MST, Raigeki. I didn't play 3 MST because I needed to make room for Pot of Benevolence and Wonka. I actually made a couple of last minute changes to the deck right before I went in, and like they all ended up just playing in my favor. And the last trap is Bottomless. Bottomless is just a super good trap. Every time I went for Bottomless, I never felt like I was going Midas. And people may say pink cards suck now, but I still feel like Bottomless is still a super important card. Next, I'm going to go into the extra deck. I'm going to fly through this because Absolute Zero gets MVP in the extra deck, hands down. Just because you can do a lot of things where somebody would be like, oh, you can negate this, and they would go to negate this, and then when they would do that, you'd just be like, okay, chain one of the changes, and then he would become acid, so they would only be able to negate 1 mandatory effect, and then Absolute Zero would go off because you get to declare what chain link it is. So that actually cost me a game. I'll get into that during my report though. I played 1 Elemental Hero Core. He's the last of the Elemental Heroes. He costs 3 Elemental Heroes, and this card says whenever this card is being attacked or is chosen as an attack target, you can double its attack. So he becomes 54. And then when this card attacks or is attacked, you get to destroy 1 monster on the field. And when this card is destroyed by card effects, you get to special a level 8 or lower Elemental Hero from your graveyard. So you get to bring back Absolute Zero, ignoring its summoning conditions. So I thought that was really cool. Core actually put in a lot of work this weekend. Next for the 3 level 8 masked heroes. We played Diane, Anki, and Acid. Acid heavy. Anki because it allowed us to swing directly in case there was a situation where we needed to just swing for game. And he was also really good because he opened this really cool play with Diane where you could go Anki swings over a monster, you grab form change. form change into Diane. Diane would then swing into another monster. If Diane would then swing into another monster if you could. Then special Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist effect. Shadow Mist effect to add a change. So you would add mass change. Mass change this into Anki, so you have another 28, and then you would form change Diane into acid, and then that's game. Next we played the 2/6s, Vapor and Dark Law. I actually caught somebody off guard because they were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna blow up Vapor, and then I'll swing for a game." And then Vapor has this effect where he can't be destroyed by card effects. So because they didn't read the card, I got an extra turn, and I was able to play out of that. Dark Law was really good all weekend. It actually was one of the only things that gave me a desk bot out, because the desk bots would shuffle all of the cards back in, and as soon as they would do that, I would chain the mask change so I'd be able to rip a card out of their hand. And I felt like that was just really good and super important all weekend. The one noted because of the instant fusions. You didn't need two because fusion substitute allows you to, well, you can't play two noted, but you didn't need to play the other level 4. I think it's Spitfire Dragon. Yeah, you didn't need to play the other level 4 like I was doing before I was testing, because Fusion Substitute allows you to add back Node into the extra deck. So you just have to be patient and wait. I'm not explaining this. This is 63 twice you lose. This card was really good to me all weekend, except I made this and I was like, okay, I'm going to swing for a game. And when I went to go and detach, somebody Veilered. Yeah, that actually made me really sad. But Rebellion probably was my favorite Xyz all weekend. He gave me so much opportunity to swing over cards. I don't like Blue Eyes. I don't like Infinity. I don't like anything in this game, to be honest. Then last two, Dweller and Nightmare. Dweller and Nightmare put in so much work this weekend. Nightmare single-handedly won me a game because I put Rhapsody and Berserk behind it, and then I swung for game. And then Dweller, just because Dweller and Absolute Zero is a dumb combo, because that puts Absolute Zero at 35 and it puts Dweller at 22. So, the deck played super well all weekend. Like I was saying before, I got compliments about the deck. The deck was super straightforward. Round 1, I played Tucker Lau. I guess I'll put a link to his YouTube channel down below. But Tucker was playing desk bots. We grinded game 1. He beat me game 1. I went for the form change play, like I said before. That's actually my favorite play in the deck. I went for that, and that was game. Like I FTK'd. And then game 3, we were grinding, but I bricked. And I went for Dark Law, and he had the Ghost Ogre upon when he shuffled it back, so he was able to do that. And then he was able to just swing for game. Game 2, I played this little kid, so I was able to take that game. And then game 3, I played my boy Kevin. That was a lot of fun, actually. We were both grinding. I was sitting there, I was yelling the entire day. It was so nice to be back at our store, because our store only does Yu-Gi-Oh events on Thursdays now and occasionally on Saturday. So it was really nice to see everybody's faces again. I got to meet some of the newer players. I got to see some of the older players. The experience was just so much fun. Me and my friend Kevin, I won game 1, and then I was like, do you even want to play game 2? You just want to go to game 3. So we just took it to game 3. He ended up beating me. Complete luck sack on Neptibus. Absolutely ridiculous. And then game 4, I played Alan Fung, the dad, the papa, the man himself. That was actually my longest game I went. That was a 36-minute game. We almost went into time. Game 1 flat out bodied me. There was nothing I could do. I didn't draw on any of the changes. Didn't draw on a Blaze Man. Didn't draw any way to search it. I drew all of the Pepe stuff, and the Pepe stuff's really good, but it was just like there was nothing I could do with it. And then game 2, I went for an OTK. And then game 3, we spent 12 turns just drawing cards and not being able to do anything. And then I lost because I didn't know that Absolute Zero and Acid were mandatory. I just thought Absolute Zero was mandatory. I didn't know Acid was mandatory. So we were in a situation. He had a board of 4 cards, and he had a card that was going to negate Absolute Zero. And so I mass changed. I discarded Zephyros, and he was like, pick what you go into very carefully. And I was like, okay, so clearly he's going to pop something, because I knew he was going to negate Absolute Zero. So I went for Vapor, and he was like, just because you did that, you lost. And then I didn't get it at first, and he explained it to me, because I had activated the card, so I would have been able to choose the order of chain links. So I would have summoned Acid because he already declared a negate. So he would have negated Acid, and then Chain Link 2 would have been Absolute Zero going off. So Absolute Zero would have destroyed the board. That actually made me really sad. But yet again, it was a 4-round thing. There was about like, how many players were there?
Like 20.
30. Yeah, like 20, but anywhere between 20 and 30. The event was so much fun. I actually placed in 10th. I would have placed in 9th, but Kevin took that spot because he beat me in some jank manner. Yeah, but this has been Teammate Noah, Teammate James with Pepe Heroes. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.